Here are 5 of the 6 systems listed. Here are 3 at the top that are active in the marketplace today in one area or another. Aquas, of course, I think you can talk to the folks back here at the back with Sloan Valve about the system that they have married up with, the Aquas system. BRAC I've been all over the United States doing green plumbers workshops, and I get BRAC representatives coming to me frequently saying, yeah, that's the system I represent. I don't ask them how many they've sold because I don't want to get into that, but I do know that they're all facing similar issues with permitting. And the third one, of course, is Rewater, been around a long time. It's basically a system they're headquartered in Southern California, been around a long time, maybe 15 years, with a system to take gray water basically from the clothes washer and apply it to the landscape subsurface. The other 2 are sort of still, the Pontos and Perpetual Water are sort of that exploratory stage. Both of those are highly sophisticated, likely to be a bit more expensive. But in the case of any of these package systems, whether they're installed in residential or non-residential, there is some behavioral aspects that go along with it. The biggest probably being that you might not think of, well maybe you did because we talked about it earlier, is maintenance. Who is going to maintain a system in a household where people are already negligent in maintaining their water heater, for example? So the Green Plumbers workshops, we kind of talk about service contracts and so forth, and guaranteed service contracts over a period of time to assure that these systems stay within spec for their lifetime. We see 100 billion gallons a year of savings of water, potable water, in the US and Canada, and that's just with only 5% of the market penetrated with systems like this. So we have lots of potential. We got some issues out there. Systems are in the marketplace. There's good take-up where they're being permitted, but we have to deal with some issues in performance, maintenance, more precisely what the water savings are, and installation and so forth. But I'm glad to say that the Green Technical Committee is, one of their subcommittees is attempting to address pieces of this to bring some degree of unity, but we still need to really get to the health code issues and address those. Next product is Pint flushing urinals. I'm sure many of you have been exposed now because of excellent publicity and salesmanship and information in the trade magazines that we've gone to a 1 pint or 1/8 of a gallon flushing urinal, which in my view is a good, this is my personal view now, a very good counterpart to the waterless urinal. And I'm looking forward to seeing lots more of these taken up by those who are perhaps considering a half-gallon or 1-gallon urinal. Good feedback again, been around since, to my knowledge, since December or a little bit earlier in 2006. Got a bunch of them into several universities across the US. Excellent feedback from facilities managers. And fortunately, we have other manufacturers other than Zurn. Zurn has been the predominant one so far, but we have the other big guys in the marketplace, and I think if you talk to perhaps the folks in the back at Sloan, you can hear about their product, or Toto. There's some of them that have a little bit more unique approach, still achieving the same amount of water use. So both of us are very excited about this new development. Not much behavioral modification required, which makes it good. It's a urinal, it works. Not much adjustability, we hope. A lot of savings in US and Canada. This is based on 10% of the existing stock, seeing a savings of 13 billion gallons a year. Number one, And I didn't know these guys were going to be over here in the side over here, but we're also very keen on the dual flush toilets that are reducing the full flush water use down to lower levels, down as low as 4 liters or 1.1 gallons. And seen a few of these installed and performing exceedingly well on the half flush. I expect many other manufacturers will be looking carefully at reduced flushes on the full flush of the dual flush products. I think Jeff Patchell talked a bit about the effect in Australia. And of course, you can see some of the products right over here. This is not to take away from the 1 gallon single flush toilet that's been around for well, since about 2001 actually, that we also rate very highly, but it's been around a bit longer than I would want to call something as being new. So we're very keen on this one because again, the savings are very significant at 5% take up, if you will. We're seeing or estimating savings of 75 billion gallons a year potential, with just capturing 5% of the marketplace with this type of product. So with that, we're gonna move on here and do a little summary.
Just gonna say, shouldn't be surprising that this type of toilet was invented in Australia, because even though there's some areas of the US that have had droughts for the last 2 or 3 years, Australia's had a drought now, and I was talking to Jeff, next week I think you said it'll be 55,000 years that Australia's had the drought. So it's not surprising they did something. So here's kind of a little table that summarizes it. We've got the predicted annual savings in billions of gallons, and you'll see that the order doesn't go all numerical. One, because we've said the relative degree or difficulty and the cost to implement. Certain ones are easier to implement. Other ones like packaged gray water systems, a lot more effort and work involved with those than some of the other ones, such as humidifiers, which I say once they're installed, you forget them. Pre-rinse spray valve, once it's installed, you just use it the same way you normally do. The urinals and the dual flush toilets, a bit more expensive. You have to actually replace a piece of equipment, which is more difficult to replace than a pre-rinse spray valve or humidifier. Also, the behavioral change, whether it requires any behavioral change or not. So that's why, even though the packaged gray water systems with the highest potential savings is not listed as our #1 product.
Okay, do these products, or will these products, or any of the other water efficient products affect the circumstances that the water utilities are facing? That is, we have inclining water use or population and water use. And you hear a lot of people crying out there, particularly developers who are trying to get into a particular jurisdiction and they're being faced with, you prove where you're going to get the water and then we'll give you the building permits. And what I think we want to say today is these things work. They do work. There's demonstrated feasibility, if you will, of water efficient products. And I got 2 favorite charts that I like to use. This one is the Los Angeles one, and it shows 35 years of water use in the city of Los Angeles with an increasing population of 1 million people over that time. And if you look at those bars straight across, you're going to see basically the population is 1 million right there. That the water use has remained fairly constant over that period of time. In fact, today's water use, or let's say 2006, is equal to what it was 35 years previously. Why is that? Because where the bars change colors is when aggressive water efficiency programs were implemented, replacing 2 million toilet fixtures, a lot of showers, pretty much all domestic, until you get to the later years when it started to focus on more on landscape and more on non-residential.